You are now listening to Artists at Work.
Artists at Work.
Artists at Work. All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Artists at Work podcast. I'm your host, 1AM, and today we're here with
Neema MC
from Santa Cruz.
What's up?
Go ahead and let the people know who you are. Who am I talking to right now?
You are talking to Neema MC. I am formerly Persian Butter. That might be what you guys are more comfortable with, or what you guys have heard more. I'm a rapper from Santa Cruz. I used to be a bassist in some rock bands for a long time, but I switched over to hip hop and I've been loving it. It's been several years now. I've been rocking some shows around town. I love doing open mics. I love doing karaoke, and I love rocking the stage and hanging out with some friends and doing some hip hop.
All right. So now you know. So now we're going to get right into it. So I was actually trying to look at some of your trail of music, and I can only trace you back to 2019. So tell me about your music journey.
For sure. 2019 is around when it started. I got a new computer and a new system in fall of 2018, so I could start recording. And my first album was all me on the bass and playing keyboards and doing my rhymes. And so I made my own beats. It sounded very experimental, and obviously I was my first foray into the rap thing, but it was really cool. And then I started kind of getting more into beats and buying beats and checking them out online. I kind of started out with didn't have a lot of social networks in the scene, so didn't have any beat makers or other hip hop communities. So I was just kind of doing my own thing for a long time. And then started out with 2019, and then maybe I think I did an album a year for about 3 years, and I just released my last album last year. It's kind of slow release. It was Nothing Like Reality. And that was finally around when I started to really get my flow in and develop my actual kind of boom bap style and make more of a clean hip hop, almost commercial, but just more of a listenable hip hop sound. I admit I was very experimental before that. And then I'm working on the new one, and I'm going faster, trying to get better beats, trying to get more local beats. And I think this last album is my best work in terms of my journey. But it started out with me in my room with my bass and my keyboard, and it's kind of come to me doing open mics and doing a lot of more actual show events around town.
So for 2019, was that the start of Persian Butter, as a rap career?
Yes, that was the start of Persian Butter. I started it right then. I thought it was an awesome, poppy, catchy name that's just kind of goofy. I admit I started out a little bit on the goofier end. And then as I started rhyming and getting more serious, and my life was just unfolding with different events that were difficult, I was starting to rap about them. So I kind of grew out of Persian Butter, I guess, just maybe 6 months ago. I was thinking about changing. And so from 2019 to 2023, I was Persian Butter, yeah. And I was loving it, rocking it. And then I kind of just felt like I grew out of it and wanted to get more real and more original with it. And some of the songs I was writing were just more heartfelt and more serious. So I just felt like I wanted to switch to my real name, Neema, and just do Neema MC.
I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a different name before 1AM.
That's right.
I was telling you.
Oh.
So it's always interesting to hear about that. You know what I mean? Because I think I've only met one person that changed their name at least 4 times.
Oh,
within 2 years. It's
that's a lot.
But I get the whole you grow out of that old person that you were, or that old style, so you want to embrace who you are now in this present time.
Totally.
Yeah. And I think that also speaks it's pretty dope because your name is Neema.
Definitely, yeah.
That's a super unique name.
For Santa Cruz, yeah. It's a common Persian name, obviously. But yeah. For where we are, it's a super unique name. I thought that still would be kind of an eye-catching name anyway in terms of other people who aren't familiar with that culture. And it also represents a shift in my hip hop, I think, in my writing and my songs. I'm not really trying to write about surf anymore and La Vida Loca and all these party time. I'm trying to get more down and dirty with just the roots and just struggles and stuff like that. So yeah, like you said, I kind of just grew out of it and evolved as a rapper, I guess.
Do you want to speak a little bit on how being Persian has influenced your music? Because obviously your first rap name was Persian Butter, you know?
Right,
so
right.
Moving into this new phase, but you're still who you are, you know what I mean? How has your culture influenced that?
You know, it's kind of just a point of pride, because obviously historically Persians are lyricists and are poets. Some of the obviously the world's most famous poets like Hafez and Rumi and Feridun are all big world renowned poets back in their day. So it's just kind of knowing that, like, I don't want to say it's in my blood, but it's in my culture, if you will, that like we're all, in my direct family. My father is a musician. He's a flutist and a composer. His parents and his family were all musicians. My mom's side of the family were all artists. So there's definitely a lot of like art and music that goes through me. Obviously, none of that era was hip hop. They're all this classical Persian style, but I kind of felt proud to like hold the family torch with music. And I love hip hop so much that I decided to dive into hip hop. And I do love it very much. So just knowing that, like, I got the lyricist in me, you know, it was very inspirational early on, writing rhymes and writing songs, and knowing that I can do it, and just kind of gave me a lot of confidence. And I think it sets me apart a little bit. Not that I'm trying to use that in any way, which obviously is a reason for my name change too. But like, I think it sets me apart, and I have a little bit of like kind of pride being a brown rapper in a predominantly white town. And it has helped me sort of connect with a lot of other peers that are, you know, of color.
Yeah.
And just kind of wanted to represent for the Persians in Santa Cruz, of which there are like 4 of us. So I thought, there's like there's some mostly from the university and all, but just kind of another Persian poet out here in Santa Cruz trying to do my thing. I have a lot of pride with that.
That's
for sure. Yeah, totally.
Hey, you got to be proud of where you come from.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
and hold it down. I'm curious too on like, you know, like your family has that background of musicianship and their, you know, poetry and stuff, and you play the bass, like, you know,
stringed instruments.
I think that probably is something that's unique, that sets you apart, because like you can infuse that, like the musicianship, you know what I mean? Like you can infuse that into your music, and like, you know, like the bass and the drums, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, my first album I played all my own bass lines and I rapped over them, and it was rad. I think that was very far on the spectrum, because like a big part of the beat was just my bass riffs. But I think it would be, and I have thought about having more like a hip hop beat and then just doing my own bass line to add to the beat. Would make more sense. And I admit I kind of just put it down. I was just doing like hardcore rock. I was like shredding on the thing, doing like kind of like hard punk rock stuff. So to switch over to like kind of funky R&B vibes would be a little bit of a change, but it's definitely something I could do. I think in the future it would be cool. Just these days I'm a little bit older than a lot of the others in the scene, so don't have as much time as I used to, so it's like I don't practice it quite as much anymore and stuff. But I think that would be something cool to look forward to, and definitely my beats I think are one of my weaker parts of my music, admittedly. So it would be cool to sort of beef it up a little bit and add some bass.
Yeah. Are you more into the full like everything you want to touch and creativity, or are you open to like because I know you say you buy beats, but like, would you like make your own beats, you know?
I wouldn't
again, or
I would try. It's so time consuming. I probably wouldn't. I really only have time to write, practice, rehearse, and then I have a couple other hobbies. I like to surf and I work a lot and stuff like that. So I probably wouldn't, because I just don't have the time element. If I were younger again, I would probably put more time into that. But what I would like to do is not buy beats from random people. I'd like to have like local people and fresh DJs I know from the scene, like have cool beats. And I've been trying to do that more. There's actually, on this next album I have, I think 3 or 4 of the songs out of 13 are from a UCSC student.
Okay. And
a couple other ones are from my neighbor, 2 of my doper ones on the album are from my neighbor who used to live here. So I do have like a lot of more local beats that way, but I still do have some other ones. But now that I've sort of been more in the scene and seen a lot more producers and DJs around and stuff like that, I think it would be cool to start working with someone. In fact, my dream would be to have a dedicated DJ and have a DJ MC and just have someone who's behind.
I can agree.
That would be my ideal.
I would totally agree.
It seems like these days, they just throw you beats and then they go do their thing. So I would like to do that more, but I work with my time limitations, which is just right. I mean, writing alone, as you know, it takes a while just to come up with something good and creative and good and different, and then you practice it and get the flows right, and that's that alone will take me per song, maybe a couple weeks or more just to kind of get it perfect. So
That's true.
that's all I really got.
And do you record yourself or you go to a studio?
I have a studio,
Okay.
a good one with someone who's like another gearhead, who's like just has they're a rock band called Big Rig.
Okay.
The studio is the Sound Store Studio. The Sound Store Studio. Check it out. They're located just across Harbor High School area. So it's close to my house. It's actually a friend of a coworker of mine. He's a epic guitar player, and they're in this tight band, and he just has an epic setup with all kinds of gear, so many different microphones, all these different crazy plugins and apps and heads for his system. So I go there, and everything from recording to mixing to editing, I do everything with him, and I pretty much go there a couple times a week, every week, and I just kind of like consistently get my songs and my projects done. And he's awesome, and we have a good time. And then when everything's set, I send it out for mastering to someone else. But I do a lot here in town. Yeah.
Nice. So
Yeah.
keeping it local.
Keeping it local, friend studio. He plays shows around town too, so I try to support him and his band, and they're awesome. Yeah, you should check out Big Rig. Big Rig plays in Santa Cruz. They're a great rock band.
Okay. That's what's up.
Yeah.
I'm curious, is that what inspired you to get your own microphone?
Yes. Yeah. They're gearheads too. They're obsessed with gold. So they have the golden Telefunken.
Okay.
But in general, they were just telling me a lot about it. And I did want a mic that was I was thinking about getting a better mic anyway. I wasn't going to go to this price level or like this range, but I love purple and just this sick purple mic with the grill.
Fully purple.
So I was like, dude, hell yeah. And then I was just checking them out, and I decided to pull the plug. So yeah, they advocated for this mic very hard, and I think they were right. It sounded good.
I think so
during the last
too.
show, right?
Yeah. I think that's probably something important to speak on, because there's a lot of artists that I know that still haven't invested in their own microphone.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Using the SM58 still.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine for some people.
Yeah.
But for
It works.
like,
works.
there's a reason why it's a classic microphone.
totally.
But I think it definitely helps. You know what I mean? Like to invest in yourself and invest in something that'll complement your voice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
Totally
for me,
agree.
that Sennheiser.
Yeah.
The reason why I got that was because with the Shure mics, I just wasn't coming through the mix. You know what I mean? Through the speakers.
Yeah.
It was very like dull. You know.
Yeah, for sure. And usually at venues, they're bumping the beat. So the vocals are usually
to the
drowned.
max.
To the max, yeah, because they want everyone to be dancing. So the vocals they don't always come through as strong. So that's good. It's good to have something to bump it up. So this is a super cardioid dynamic, which is, I think, just giving it the highest level you can do and still be dynamic.
Telefunken,
Yeah.
So it's got really good circuitry inside there,
Totally.
But
very excited about this mic.
yeah,
I did my first show with it last Saturday, and it's my new thing.
That's what's up. You have to really invest in yourself.
You do.
You know, I know it's like 4 years later, but I think that's an interesting time, 2019, to get started.
Mm-hmm.
And then we already know what happened in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of curious because like in 2019, we were coming here a lot to Santa Cruz to do a lot of shows.
Nice.
And then 2020, it was very,
game over. Yeah.
I'm just curious on like for you, just starting, just barely getting a year in.
Yeah.
How did that kind of affect you, and how did that, how did that shift how you go about music?
I had a lot of time to write suddenly. My job also, it was awesome. My job became come to work as needed and get your job done and go home. We don't want you here if you don't have to be here. So I actually dove into writing my third album, Churn It Up, Persian Butter, Churn It Up. I just kind of like over a period of like 6 weeks of just staying at home and waking up in the morning and doing my thing and my routine, and then just kind of grabbing my notebook, I kind of just banged that album out. And I'm a very topic-based rapper. So for me, I just choose a topic. That's how I at least used to be. I would just choose a topic, and then I just kind of rap all about that, and then a new topic. So I had a lot of time to get into it. But for shows-wise, I didn't really play shows for the first like almost 2.5 years. I didn't really have I wasn't really embedded in the scene yet. I didn't have the right contacts, and I didn't really know where to I didn't have a good leg in the door. So I just kind of wrote and recorded my first. It was just releasing music and writing and recording, starting my Instagram, starting my socials, and then which was good in a way, because when it started to recede and venues were opening up and things were opening up and open mics were opening up, I was coming to these open mics with like all this material behind me, and I was just bumping out these songs, and no one had seen me before or heard of me before, because it was all during COVID when I started.
Right.
And before that, in 2019, I was just writing. I wasn't really going out in the scene yet, so when I hit the scene, I had a ton of material and no one had ever heard of me. So I feel like I kind of hit Santa Cruz like a little bit like a shock.
Oh, okay.
And everyone was like, "What the hell? Who's this guy?" You know. And then I slowly started to write more and do more. But I think now I'm a bit more of a regular. But yeah, I had a lot of time to write. I had a lot of time to record. I actually had my own studio with terrible equipment when I first started. So the quality wasn't as good, but yeah, I even though I think it was good that it ended and I was going out more, because I was sort of like writing in a bubble.
Okay.
And like no one was critiquing my work, you know, and so I was just in my opinion, my first two albums kind of sucked. And my third album was the beginning of like getting there, and this last one was like, okay, you're almost there, and I feel like the one I'm recording now is like fucking finally fire.
Okay.
So it was good for me to start getting into writing and recording then, and having the time to sort of like do it all, and getting the process of mixing, mastering, editing, everything. But I'm glad that everything's opened up now, and yeah.
I'm curious too because like I think I stepped into the Santa Cruz scene, I want to say 2018 maybe.
Oh, okay.
I had I got introduced to Khan. He introduced me to like Lou and the Loud House, all that type.
Yeah.
And then obviously that kind of like fizzled out, and everyone went their separate ways, and then COVID happened.
Mm-hmm.
But I know like you putting on shows now, like you're setting stuff up. Like how is that in Santa Cruz? Like,
oh man, there's just it's hard because there's not a lot of venues.
No.
And I'd imagine, and this is what I've been seeing, is that venues will eventually get tired of you. Like, I'm not all that, you know, I'm not like busting out these epic shows. I'm trying to get better though, and my last one might have been one of the better shows I've thrown. In fact, might be the best one I've thrown. But there's not a lot of venues. There are still a good amount of rappers. So it's kind of like it's a lot of demand.
Too many
and not enough supply.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the grind element of promoting. At least for me right now, I'm spending a lot of time getting press kits together, getting my emails together, cold calling places, showing up places, going back a second time to ask, hey, what did you think of what I told you the first time?
Yeah.
And then when you do set up a show, that's really when it all begins. When you finally get your foot in the door at a venue, then it all begins. And then you have to get everyone down and get the money sorted and get artists and vendors and the timing. Is there a PA? Is there not a PA? So it's been tough in Santa Cruz. And you know, like, obviously I'm new to the scene here. There's been a lot, like you said, Khan and some other people before me have been here well before me, are much more established, which is awesome. But it kind of means that, like, I don't know. I don't have as big of a clout, so I have to kind of work a little bit harder, I think, just to kind of get a venue to agree with it. And then, you know, I don't have as much to show for myself, but I'm getting there. Yeah, and I think another tough thing has been just trying to get your name out more. Yeah, it's been it's been tough. And also, for me, a big inspiration and like a big drive, I should say, and motivation for booking shows is I don't really get invited out very much, which is all good for what it's worth. I'm not, no judgment, but like the only way, in my opinion, to play shows on stages and to play shows out there and have like audience and get my name out there is to book my own shows. Like, I'm not really getting a lot of invites. So I'd love to get more invites. If you guys are watching, please invite me. I'll rip the stage up. But until then, I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to try to give it 100% every show, try to write better and better material. And I got to book my own shows because I'm not really waiting for anyone, you know?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it comes down to.
I hear you on that, because like, you know, us moving north, right? Like, I don't know too many people out there. So like the different times that we did do shows, majority of the time it's like we try to book it for ourselves, you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's got to be that way, and you just bring your people out, or you know, put flyers up.
Yeah.
And hopefully, you know, like at the end of the night, you can either break even or maybe make a little profit.
Yeah. But see, the nice thing is, no matter the money, I really don't do this shit for money. At least it's the cred. Just getting your name out, getting your cred, getting your reputation better is really what it comes down to. And you do that when you book a good show. That does go through the roof. So that's a really good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if I could book a show and just do my set and go home, I'd love to, because I really just want to bump my stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But when you book a show, you have to do the whole night. So
what's the biggest takeaway from booking your own shows that people can learn from your experience?
Yeah, that's a good question. A couple things. A lot of like minute, detailed things. Like it's easy to get people and everyone show up and be good. Get a good DJ.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have a good DJ. They're even though you're technically the host, they're basically the host. Mm-hmm. They're bumping everyone's beats. They need to be on time. They're filling in the space in between. Getting a good DJ and then, you know, paying the DJ the most makes sense because they're kind of working the whole time, as opposed to each rapper and each act is only coming up a little bit. Giving everyone in the show on the lineup, giving everyone the details. And not just being like, okay, you're going to play, you know, at this time, you're going to play at this time, you're going to play at this time, but letting everyone know the whole set list for the whole night was something that I kind of learned. And then getting the payment done off the bat so people don't have to linger. People, when they finish their stuff, they can kind of just go home after that or whatever. Just getting the payment done as soon as possible, I've noticed has been awesome, and being really clear about all that.
Yeah.
That's kind of like artist to artist wise, but like artist to venue wise, that's been my biggest challenge. Getting them to book you alone is the biggest challenge. But I would say you got to come confident and clean and present something. Like it's not, you shouldn't just go to a venue and say, hey, can I book a show on this date? And there's nothing in your hand, or there's nothing, you don't have any, like, no idea in mind or something. You know, you should go to a venue with your press kit or at least your card, and then say, hey, I'm looking to book a show on this date. And I'm looking to bring these artists, and I'm hoping to do this thing from this time. Is that cool with you? So you have like you present more of it's more of like a pitch,
right,
as opposed to just trying to chat with the booking agent and see if they'll book you.
Right.
So coming in with a pitch, and then one other thing that's really helpful is if you look at the venue you're going to play out beforehand and see what days are full and what days are open, then you suggest a couple open dates that you know are open because you can tell from their site. So they don't have to go looking through the schedule book. And if you just call it out, then it's easier for them. And then it kind of gives you a leg up because it's one less back and forth if you're emailing.
Right.
You don't have to wait for them to come back and suggest dates. You've already said the date, and then they can just say yes or something like that. So that's a big one too.
I think that's another thing that I'd want to like point out is that you are older than us, so you have wisdom.
Some wisdom
on the come correct.
I'm still learning.
I'm just saying, like, out of a lot of the shows that I've done here in Santa Cruz, I like that you're very clear on what to expect for the most part, and like you're upfront, and like we don't have to linger. We don't have to like question like, oh, like, can I go now? Like,
totally. Yeah.
We have work tomorrow.
Yeah. It ain't my first rodeo.
You know, I've done shows with people that throw in a little shade, but it's all love. I've waited like a week to get paid. And it wasn't even a lot. It was just like, really? You gotta wait a whole week for that?
Oh man, if anything, it's Venmo the next day, let alone that night, you know. Yeah.
You know, because people are coming out with their gas and their time and energy.
For sure.
It's a lot of energy to come perform, you know.
Absolutely.
But I do agree, like the DJ's like up there the whole time.
Yeah.
Unless he's walking around, you're like, what are you doing, bro?
Sometimes I try to get good DJs. Yeah.
Get back to the booth.
Get back to the keep spinning.
I think too though, like it's important to have a DJ that has background in, or at least some knowledge of like audio too, because there's some DJs that's
very true.
They'll be like, either the beat is too loud and the vocalists, you cannot hear them,
right?
Or because some venues have a dedicated sound person, but majority don't.
True,
you know what I mean? So like in hopes of like getting the DJ, hopefully they know exactly what they're doing.
And a lot of the times the DJ isn't thinking about also being the sound person. But it would be nice. It would be nice if they can just handle the whole sound behind the artist, you know? Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because sometimes too, it's like perfect example of when we went to your show the other night in Santa Cruz, it was very clear. Like you could hear the lyrics, the beats were perfect, and then literally that same night we went to go support my friend at the Vets Hall, and I already know they have a really, old system.
Yeah.
But man, I could not hear anything.
I know.
They were rapping over the lyrics too, just saying, but you couldn't hear anything that they were saying. It's just like, and then you just hear the beat.
Especially with the lyrics on the beat.
Yeah, it's just like
the Vets Hall does. The Vets Hall is one of the ones that bumps the beat hard. So yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think the DJ was, it's hard too. Like when you're on stage, you can't hear what the crowd hears.
Right, when you're on stage.
So you kind of need like another person to be like, yo, how's it sound? Oh, okay.
Totally. If you noticed at my last show, someone came and turned up my mic because my mic was...
I told Constant Light.
Thank you.
I was like, he needs to come up.
It did. I
still felt like you needed to come a little bit more.
I know.
But
next time I'll try to get the levels straight.
It wasn't bad though.
I was just using the new mic and everything. But yeah, I think my first 2 songs were muffled. And yeah, it's good to have at least, even if it's ideally not an audience member, but that's better than no one.
He was an artist though.
Sorry. Yeah. He
so that's a plus.
So he knows what's up. Yeah.
Shout out Constant Light.
Shout out Constant Light. Thanks for the support, man.
No, yeah, it's definitely basically like performing. That's a whole nother thing of artistry, you know what I mean?
Totally.
Like the whole like writing in the studio, like for us at least, it's like that's a nice space. And then when we go out on stage, it's like that's a whole nother thing to handle.
Yeah, it's completely.
Yeah,
and you got to get in that headspace and separate from the writing.
Yeah,
for a second.
I think it probably might help like bringing headphones. You know what I mean? Or like kind of tune it out a little bit.
True.
I was telling you about in-ear monitors. Because if you get the in-ear monitors that like fit in your ear, like it's molded to your ear, you can block out, a lot of whatever if you wanted to get in the zone.
Oh man, I never thought of that. It also blocks out the other noise too.
That's why if you ever see like live concerts like on Netflix or whatever, they'll have like one out.
I have seen
that.
Because
they can't hear the crowd.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Like, they're like, hey, like make some noise.
Right.
He's like all you hear is.
Yeah. Just see the open faces. Yeah.
You gotta take it out.
That's cool. Those are cool. Those I should check it. I should check those out because monitors is so clutch for my performances.
Yeah.
If it's low, if I can't hear the beat or the beat's not loud enough, I do not do well.
Yeah.
I really need the monitors to be. I really need to hear the beat.
But that's the other thing too is like with the venues, sometimes if they don't have a dedicated sound person or if the sound person, like they're all the way in the back, they can't hear what you hear. You know what I mean? Like I've done a show up north where we did sound check, but when as the night progressed, like it seems like the onstage monitor got worse. And then the artists couldn't hear themselves, and like I had brought my in-ears that time, so I was like, whatever,
so
like
good.
I got it. But like, for those type of shows, like sometimes they're not needed, but sometimes it really comes in handy, like if you're prepared,
Yeah.
Because then you have the dial to kind of, I want more,
you
in
got
my head.
the controller.
Yeah.
You got the, right.
You can turn up the music or you can lower it. Because I've had monitors that were way too loud. And it's like, I don't need it that loud.
That's too loud.
I just need to hear my voice.
Yeah. And
so I don't have to scream.
Totally. Yeah. I've been there. I've been screaming at rap shows because I'm like, I hope you can hear this. And you're like,
yeah. And then the crowd hears a completely different mix. You're like,
yeah, I know.
It's definitely good to like, to check that out. I think just because like if you want to do this long term, the way I see it is like looking at some of our favorite artists, even though they're on giant stages, what do they have? They got a dedicated microphone that complements their voice. They got in-ears.
That's true.
They do got DJs.
That's true.
If they're musicians, you know what I mean, they got their band, everyone is synced up, like I think that's pretty. If you want to get to another level, it's like pretty cool to like be able to look at those type of people and be like, okay, I can kind of learn a little bit from that and like implement it into my own set, and then that also makes you stand out more as a performer.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Having a dedicated microphone.
Y'all see it, purple.
Exactly. Like
from now on, this will be Neema MC. You'll know it when you see it. You'll be like, that's Neema MC.
Exactly. Damn, that's what's up though. I'm curious on like, okay, so you're talking about that you've been working on a lot of new music.
Yeah.
Is it a different sound or?
I think it's just better. I also want two things. I think the beats I chose, like I said, this time there's more like local beats and from a more variety of beat makers. My like Churn It Up and Nothing Like Reality, my third and fourth, like kind of my first and second in my opinion. Almost, I think I'm trying to think if there's anything different, but I think they're all the same beat maker.
Okay.
Just this dope cat I found online, Insane Beats. I like them, but I see a lot of the beats from other rappers, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's just more like hip hop. The beats I'm doing are just kind of, I don't know, just kind of like online YouTube-y poppy stuff. So I think that's one big thing is that this time I have a variety of beats that sound different, that sound cool, that are more like just personal to other people as opposed to just kind of like poppy everyone. And I'm switching up my flow a lot more. Okay. Like within the verses. I admit like some of my older songs, it's just the same flow. Like the whole 16 verse will just be 16 bars of just kind of the same pattern.
I know some rappers that still be rocking the same flow.
Yeah, and that works.
It works for them.
I think it works for some people. I think if your tone and your voice are dope enough or whatever, like your emphases are different. But I think for me, because I kind of do a very monotone staccato thing, like just very kind of fast machine gunny speed rap style, which I love. I just found that when I switch up the flow more, I've seen the audience interact, like reaction be more, be a lot better. Yeah. And it's just like people are like, oh shit, it's kind of more impressive. And then for me, it's just a lot less boring, and you can kind of switch up the flow and play with it more. And so you can do like even like a lot of the times what I've been doing for some songs is the second verse or like the second half of a verse, I'll just do double time and then just kind of do like a mellow thing and then just kind of kick it out double time the second half, which has been cool. So just new beats and changing up my flow more. Okay. And then trying to have topics that are way more real and relatable. And not, again, like just trying to cut out some of my like kind of more goofy songs as I grow out of Persian Butter.
So making it more personal too.
Making it more personal. Okay. And then switching up the flow.
So do you have a title for the project and release date and all that?
I don't have a release date. I'm in the studio. I have 2 more songs to record out of 14. I'm doing 14. And then I'm assuming by June. I'm excited. I think by June it'll all be done. Okay. And I'll be stoked. It's gonna be Neema MC, and I think the album is gonna be formerly Persian Butter. Okay. And I think this is gonna be the album that I'm gonna switch out of Persian Butter and be Neema MC. I say Persian Butter a lot in my verses when I refer to myself because I wrote them just months ago when I was still doing that. Okay. So I thought I would just call this one formerly Persian Butter, and then the next one I'm kind of writing. I'm already 4 songs in my next one, which is way more personal and real.
What are your goals for Neema MC?
That's a good question. I've actually been thinking about this a lot lately. I'm not 100% sure. And that's not good, I don't think, to be doing this kind of thing without like a clear goal in mind. Music, I've just been doing music now, whether it's been rock or rap for, I don't know, maybe 12 years of my life. So to me, it's just like a very deep-seated hobby that I love to do, that I can't really envision my life without music. So right now I've chosen to rap, and I've chosen to like dive into my lyrics and dive into my songs and try to book shows and do performances and push it and market and spend money. You know, my last show, I paid a lot of the SF artists to come down, and that's totally chill, and I love doing that. And I want to like throw more, and like you said, investing in yourself, like getting more gear, getting a new microphone. I just got a mixer. I just got new headphones. I'm trying to do like some videos out in the field. The ultimate goal, though, I don't think you should think this way, but I don't anticipate seeing myself getting signed. I'm not really trying to go for that. I'm just trying to build a reputation. Okay. I'm just trying to build a reputation as a dope ass rapper who could fucking tear the mic up. And I do like I love the social life and community elements of life and of music and of hip hop. So I do love the elements of like kind of being with the scene and being with the crew and throwing shows and feeling the love and support from other rappers and reciprocating that by going to their gigs and supporting them. So for now, it's just kind of maintaining and having a fun and just trying to elevate my clout. To what end, I don't really know. We'll see where it goes. Okay. I'm writing these songs anyway.
Yeah.
So I might as well record them and put them out there and see how far they go. And yeah, I'm trying to get better at freestyling and practicing that more. And I'm getting a little bit better at it just to kind of like add to that layer of it all. But yeah, that's a good question. I hope other rappers have a better answer than that. But
I hope so. I mean, I believe me, I've asked some people and they're not sure. And I mean, ultimately, like it's kind of like, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Yeah, right. Like we'll see what happens. I have some ideas, I'm not sure. Yeah, I hope to gain more prominence and play bigger stages. I hope to rock big crowds would be my ideal. Like before any money comes in the picture, before any record labels come in the picture, before any contract comes in the picture, I want to rock big crowds and just feel the love from the audience. That's why I love doing music. So
would
that's
you be open to branching outside to do shows like, say, San Jose, Frisco?
Oh, absolutely.
LA.
Absolutely. I would love to do that more than SC. And like you asked earlier, it's tough in Santa Cruz. There's limited venues and a lot of people do show up, but admittedly it's a lot of the other local, a lot of other artists and people in the scene. Like you're not getting a lot of just kind of like people coming and just checking it out who have nothing to do with the music.
Yeah.
I feel like you get that a lot more in the places you mentioned, like San Fran, Oakland, San Jose, LA. I'd love to go do more in LA, but again, it's tough when you don't have the right connections and you're just trying to cold email venues, which I do too.
Yeah.
But I would like to branch out more. It's been tougher without the right hookup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I mean, we're kind of navigating through North Bay, trying to figure that out because I'm from Gilroy and moving to San Jose.
That's right.
But a lot of my roots are from getting started was Santa Cruz. You know, that's where, because like I started off like mostly like I started doing shows with another group, but I really started like actually having legit shows from Santa Cruz.
From Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz, yeah. So, it's always cool to have your roots somewhere,
For sure.
And that's why I love Santa Cruz. It's a beautiful place, beautiful community.
Beautiful place.
But I definitely think like too, like branching out a little bit can help you like, meet more people, make more connections, be able to rock bigger stages, bigger crowds.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What if you had to choose? I'm curious, just curious question. If you had to choose LA or Frisco to go to go and like, cause you gotta put in work, you know what I mean? You gotta put some time in. Which one would you go to put some time in? I'm just curious.
If you mean like moving to one of them, if you had to move somewhere and try to establish
unless you want to
something,
drive like 6 hours to like LA.
I would rather go to LA.
Okay.
I'm from Southern California, and
okay.
I don't know. It might not be true, but I feel like there may be more opportunities for like smaller artists in LA. I think there's just like way more little spots that are venues and things and shows and you can do. But where I am now, I'd rather dive more into San Fran. Obviously, it's just much closer, and there's still a huge scene there. Obviously, San Fran, Oakland is massive for hip hop. Obviously, I just feel like LA is too.
No, it is. There's a lot of competition too.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I mean, the college that I'm going to, one of the engineers, his name is Leslie, but he is an engineer for like Beyonce, for like Pharrell.
Damn.
And he graduated from my school, and he was saying that if you really want to dive in to the music scene and make this like something that you do as a career or something, you got to go where the hubs are. So he was naming like New York, LA,
New York,
Tennessee,
LA,
like
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
That's true.
I didn't hear San Jose or Frisco.
Yeah.
I mean, but when I think of Frisco, I think of maybe like tech.
Right? Yeah.
I don't really think of
tech.
music too much.
Yeah.
But when I think of like LA film,
right,
music, of course.
I've heard the same. I think if you look into most artists' background, most artists that are signed and have made it or whatnot, most of them have eventually moved to a hub and pushed it there. And like, not a lot of them are like living in their hometown or anymore or whatever. That seems to be what you got to do if you're really trying to go to that level. And I think I can see myself doing something like that if I just kind of refine and polish my sound and my act a little bit more. I admit I'm not quite at the level I want to be yet, or at the level I think to do something like that yet. But I'm working on it a lot, and I would probably choose LA. I love Santa Cruz is the problem. I love it down here. I'm also a surfer.
Yeah.
So I love surfing. So for me, I mean,
you have to worry about
here,
sharks over here?
And you don't have to worry about them. You don't have to worry about them. They're there, but you don't have to worry about it. In fact, you shouldn't. No, I mean, this for what it's worth. It's very rocky, like shallow rocky sometimes, and there's a lot of kelp beds, which I think are supposed to kind of give a natural barrier. I've been surfing for what now? 14, 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
I have never seen a shark.
Okay.
I don't even think about it.
Have you surfed in SoCal?
Yeah.
And have you seen
Seal
sharks?
Beach, nothing, yeah.
Oh.
And there's a lot more sightings and accidents in SoCal, right?
Yeah.
Santa Onofre, San Clemente is like and Santa Barbara, and
they're,
even San
they're
Diego.
traveling down to Mexico.
They're going down, right? They're getting hungry as they pass. I mean, here there's so many sea lions and all this other food, but I mean, there's supposed to be monster sharks here, but it's deep water and they're far away as far as I'm concerned.
They're probably like, it's too cold. I don't think I'm
For real.
I don't think I'm
too cold for me. Goddamn.
How do you handle that? Like
the wetsuit does a lot of it. I mean, it's cold for the first 10 minutes. It's cold.
Yeah.
I'm not lying. It's uncomfortably cold for the first 10 to 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, you're either having so much fun, the temperature does not matter, or you're kind of just numbed out. Which most of it is you just get numbed out, and then you're numb, and you're just kind of paddling, and you don't really feel the cold yet until you go home or enter a warm body of water, and then you realize that everything's thawing. It's just too much fun for the cold to really affect it, at least for here. I mean, if you go further north, it might be different, but wetsuit technology, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I never knew that because like I don't know too many people who surf, but I've always wondered that, like, how do you? Because I can't handle the cold.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a southern.
It's very
warm
different
person.
than when you're just like if you're just in your swim bathing suit and you jump in. It's obviously very different than with the wetsuit, but still your hands and your feet and your face, and eventually it creeps in. It's just, it's one of the most uncomfortable things. I mean, that's why most Santa Cruz surfers go on some kind of tropical vacation a year. I do too. I go to Mexico at least once a year to get some warm water action. That's where it's all about. Yeah.
Speaking of Mexico, I'm pretty sure you had a song where you're speaking Spanish.
I did. That's right. My song, Baby Girl. It's got like a salsa beat.
Yeah.
And I wrote a love song to the salsa beat. It's one of the ones I like doing a lot just because it's actually really technical and fast, and my rhymes are cool. And then I have a sweet Spanish hook I wrote. I just figured I was trying to stick with the beat. And I know Spanish pretty well just from all my traveling. So, it's got like 6 bars in Spanish. And it's cool to break the bilingual. I think it's cool to be bilingual.
Yeah.
Predominantly English, obviously, so everyone can understand you. But it's a cool flavor to add up. And I know Spanish. I know Farsi. So some of the, I have a new song I've been writing in Farsi. And my hook, that song, my hook is in Spanish. And just adds another flavor, another layer, and I think it hooks a lot of people in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then they hear it and like, whoa, what's that?
Totally.
That's different.
It's very intriguing.
Yep.
And it just kind of breaks it up. Like I have so many hooks I've written. Everything's in English. I know other languages. It's like, why not? This is all about lyricism, right? It's the same. It's
plus it's different in a different language. You know what I mean? Like the English language is so like, in a way, it's kind of like limiting.
I agree.
Compared to when you hear something in Spanish or like the way it's said and a different language.
Totally.
It's definitely like more impactful. It's super crazy.
But
that's really cool. I didn't know that you spoke 3 languages. Or yeah.
More or less, yeah. I'm not fluent in Spanish or Farsi, but I can definitely carry on a conversation in both of them. Like I'm average in both of them. Yeah. Farsi I just grew up with my family. And never really forgot it, I guess. And then Spanish I learned I did high school. And then I've just traveled. I've been to Costa Rica 2 times. I've been to Mexico more times. I've lost count. I've literally been going to Mexico at least 2 or 3 times a year for the last, I want to say 9 years. So I've just so many times. And every time you're there, you're interacting, you're speaking, you're immersed.
Yeah.
And it's not just Baja. It's like I go deep into Mexico sometimes. So
nice.
It's cool. It's really cool speaking different languages. It's interesting to see the comparisons and the differences and the way they say things in this language and this culture and the way they say it in a different culture. And yeah, it's cool. So try to bring that into the hip hop.
Okay.
Add another layer.
I have a few more questions for you before we close it, but I'm curious on now that we're talking about different languages, and I'm curious on have you ever looked into marketing outside of the American market? You know what I mean? Like marketing to your culture or even, to Mexico or
I
Spanish
haven't.
speakers?
I haven't actually. I haven't really even looked into marketing very much,
Okay.
which is again something most rappers should do. I haven't done that. However, I've been thinking since the Persian song I wrote, the Farsi song is very new, and it seemed to be a pretty solid hit. The last show, I was actually really excited to debut it. It's not recorded yet, but when I have that recorded, there's a very popular Persian hip hop, I guess like broadcasting channel called Radio Javan, Javan, that kind of plays like all the hits of like kind of more of the hit level, but I think for like an indie artist, busting out Persian and English in the same, within the verse, like interweaving, I haven't really heard that. I've heard Farsi songs and I've heard songs in English, but I haven't heard songs in both. I was thinking about maybe reaching out to them for the first time and seeing if I can kind of maybe get featured with them, or just other avenues of like music for Persians or music with Farsi.
Yeah.
So I've been thinking about it recently, but I mean Spanish I haven't, just because I just have that one song with that one hook.
Okay.
But that would be interesting. I never really thought about that.
The reason why I ask is just because I know a lot of like independent, or they were signed but now they're independent, or
yeah,
maybe they weren't at the top of the mainstream like Justin Bieber status or something, but a lot of the fans that go hard are outside.
They're outside the U.S., aren't they? That's true, huh?
There's a lot of hip hop heads in Japan.
Yeah, I was
Germany,
gonna say Japan. I should go reach out to Japan. I'll be a hit in Japan.
Hey, you never know. I'm just saying though, like it's cool to think outside the box,
That's
especially if you can at least like speak the language. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just gives you more options, and it gives you more like of a way to connect with people with your music.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
That's true. That's a good idea. I never thought of that. I'll have to think about that and check it out more. Yeah. Japan would be tight. Plus, it'd be cool to go tour in a new country and just go on like a tour vacation. If you could book a show and you could go out somewhere.
You never know.
I'd love to play in a different country. Yeah.
Yeah. There's like maybe 2 to 3 artists. I think 2 for sure that I've interviewed on this podcast that have like Metazul. He's gone to South America and just
and done some music
rap,
stuff there.
doing music videos,
totally,
like get the drone.
I saw him a lot on Instagram the other year, and he was like in a new spot in a new country somewhere in South America, putting out a new song.
They were traveling out there, but it's definitely like a cool thing to just to be aware of, like for you and for other artists that are listening, like we're not just stuck in this box. Like there's the whole world out there. You know what I mean?
True.
There's an audience for everyone.
Definitely.
So
definitely, that's good food for thought. Yeah.
What is the biggest lesson that you've learned in your music journey so far?
All the work that everyone's gonna see when you're on stage, you have to do like 2 or 3 times the amount of work behind the scenes to put out something that people are gonna really like. So I guess the biggest lesson is like you really just have to. You gotta give every show 100%. You gotta come correct. You gotta have the right headspace. You gotta you gotta just like put in all the behind the scenes work, and that includes rehearsing. That includes writing. That includes writing an awesome verse, reading it back to yourself, rapping it back to yourself. Trying to listen to it from like an outside perspective, like an objective perspective, and then I've crossed out more lines and rewritten more verses in the last year than I have any time before that, because I'm like, you know what, I like this and it means a lot to me, but I'm trying to put this out for like, I mean, I'm definitely making music that I love, that I think is awesome, but I'm also trying to make music that's like relatable, and I'm saying stuff that's really esoteric and like unique to my life that no one's really gonna understand. So this is cool for me, but like this is not something other people are going to relate to, or something that even my flow could be better here. Like I'm just kind of, so I think a lot of it is just kind of like the product isn't done until it's you've passed all the tests and it's like fully done. So I think giving it 100% in terms of the behind the scenes to the front is huge. And I think the second biggest thing I could think of is respect. I came into the Santa Cruz rap scene relatively recently, compared to a lot of the other people around town, and it's all respect, man. Maybe you don't always get along with everyone, but that's different than just giving respect as an artist. So And showing up. And respect also includes showing up. You know, if people are booking a show on a Wednesday, try to show up. If people are booking shows in general, or people are trying to do stuff, or people are working on projects, like try to support and respect them, because you're not expecting reciprocation, but just showing the respect will get you respect, which hopefully will in turn will turn into that. And I think I think just kind of like giving your shows 100% and having respect for your fellow peers. I mean, we're the ones that are going to help put each other on other shows, and we're the ones that we're kind of all we got. You know, no one here is in our level, I think, is like really going to be pursuing like a major career anytime soon. So we're the ones who have to help each other. And if anyone will make it, it's because we've all helped someone get to that point to where they can then take off. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for any upcoming artists that, you know, can probably relate to you in trying to figure out your sound, trying to figure out the gear and stuff like that? Any advice to any upcoming artists?
It's a struggle, man. It's all gonna it's change over time. It's evolution. It's change over time. Rehearse on your own is you know what? I do have some advice. You know what helped me a lot, and this is gonna kind of sound whack, but it helps you, I think, in terms of your confidence, in terms of getting up in front of other people, and in terms of like figuring out your sound, is go to karaoke. And that sounds lame as hell. And you're gonna be like, what kind of rapper is this? But go to karaoke, dude. You're gonna have a room full of 70 people. I can't even book a show with 70 people. You're gonna have a room full of 70 people, and you're gonna be ripping up a microphone and just do a rap song that you like or love, and then get your like stage presence, get your flow down, get your tone down, see people's reactions, what you did worked, what didn't work. It's almost like a really lame free show that you can do anytime that'll kind of get you ready for when you're doing your own original material. Or do open mics. It's kind of the same vein. Just do a lot of open mics. It's just free practice. And again, open mics sometimes have like 40 people, 50 people. Yeah. So, you know, rapping in front of 50 people is rapping in front of 50 people. If it's an original thing, you go to open mic, it's just practice, and it's not a show really. So it's just practice. Yep. I mean, it comes down to practice is the ultimate answer, but I think these are the avenues of practice. So do open mics and do karaoke and get your tone set. So when you do your own show, you can give it 100. You know what I mean? And then when you do your own shows, give it 100.
Mm-hmm. I like that, and I agree.
Don't smoke before your set. Give it 100. Smoke after your set.
Exactly. What about the nerves?
I know.
Okay. Any closing thoughts?
I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming out here. Thanks for having me on here. It's been a pleasure.
Where can people find you and your music?
Everything's under Persian Butter. Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, my Linktree. You can find it all under Persian Butter. I am switching my name to Neema MC, but I think I'm just going to keep a lot of my websites and socials under Persian Butter. I mean, every rapper has a nickname. I'm just going to have that be my nickname. But check it out. I'm releasing all my new songs on Spotify. I think I've released like 6 new songs this year. I'm just kind of like closing out my album, Nothing Like Reality. And then when that's finished, I'm going to start releasing, I think by June, my next one, formerly Persian Butter. So I have a lot of new material out there. And then my Instagram has a lot of cool clips and music videos and lyrical stuff. And that's where I post all my shows. So if you guys want to come catch me anytime or catch some of the other artists that I'm rapping with, you can check it all out there. Yeah. Nope. And on YouTube, I have a lot of cool music videos I've done over the couple years. From the surf song to rapping on the beaches to going around town and checking out all the murals, and to my blacklight video with me in my friend's garage, killing it. A lot of cool music video too. So YouTube, Persian Butter, you can check them all out. And thank you. Please subscribe.
So please subscribe. Yes, this is an independent podcast. So if you feel like tipsy, go ahead and donate.
Donate. Support the art. Hey. Support the local art scene. Give it up.
So once again, I am your host, 1AM. This is Neema MC. You were listening to the Artists at Work podcast. Stay creative. Peace.
Good night, y'all.